Hello, welcome. We're here today talking about mean, median, mode, and range. Okay, so these are called, sometimes called measures of central tendencies. Okay, so it's essentially using data in math to make sense of all these numbers that are coming at us. Okay, and just to start off here with mean. Mean is actually, you may not recognize the name so much, but mean is just another word for average, another name for average. Okay, so oftentimes you'll hear the average, your average in a class, your average monthly bill, monthly electric bill, things like that. Okay, so mean and average, same thing. So they're interchangeable, those two words, okay, in math anyways. So let's actually go ahead and start doing some of this math. So the average or the mean is the sum of the data entries divided by the number of entries. So the sum means we're going to add all of our entries, so add all of these up, and then divide by the number of entries. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to divide by 8 entries. Okay, so we need to add up the entries. Okay, so to add them up, we have 3 plus 7 plus 10 plus 8 plus 31 plus 10 plus 2 plus 1. So just add them all up. Just double check here, 8 entries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we got them all. Okay, and when you add these up, you got 10, 20, 28, 58, 59, 69, 71, 72. Okay, so this sum is 72. And now we're going to take the sum. So we'll say here the mean is the sum divided by the number of entries. Okay, so 72 divided by 8 is 9. Okay, so the average is 9. Okay, and now this 31 being very far from these other points, they're all less than 10. Even 10 is a little high compared to some of them with the 1, 2, 3, 7. Okay, but 1, 2, 10, 8, 10, 7, 3, they're all, less than 10. And this 31 gets thrown in here. Okay, so usually when there's one point or one piece of data that doesn't seem to fit the rest, okay, kind of stands out in that way, oftentimes we call that the outlier. Okay, so if you ever hear that term outlier, that's what it is referring to. Okay, so if these points were graphed on, say, a line graph, that point would be far off from all the other points. It wouldn't quite follow the pattern or the trend. Okay, and in this case, you can see it's just a lot higher than any of the other numbers. It kind of stands out. Okay, so we call that an outlier. Okay, but that's the mean. Add them up, divide by the number of values you've added, number of entries there were, and you get your mean or your average. Okay, now for median, median is pretty simple. It's actually just the middle value in a set of data listed in numerical order. So we just need to list this in numerical order, and then we will look for that middle number. So numerical order, so the lowest number here is 1. Okay, so let's cross that off our list. Then 2, then 3, now 7 is the next, 8, and then we have 2 10s, 10 and 10, and lastly that outlier, 31. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got our 8 entries. They're listed in numerical order, and so we are going to take the middle value. Okay, so we can, to find the middle value, you can essentially start crossing out numbers, one on each side from the far left to far right, the next one on the left, the next one on the right, and eventually you'll narrow it down to where your middle is. Okay, so you can say the far left and the far right are definitely not in the middle. Now the far left, what's remaining there, and the far right are not in the middle. Again, far left and far right are not in the middle. And now you see your 7 and your 8 are both your middle values. Okay, so if there was a 9th value here, okay, odd numbers are nice because they'll have exactly one number in the middle. So if there was a 9th value that we were crossing out, there would be one number all by itself left in the middle. Okay, and that would be the median. Now in this case, because we have 2 values in the middle, okay, we actually take the mean of those 2 values, or the average of those 2 values. Okay, and now the average between 2 values is essentially the halfway point between those 2 values. So with 7 and 8, the halfway point will be 7.5. But just to show you, okay, how we do this, so we're going to take the mean of those middle numbers. Okay, so the mean, we take the sum, 7, so 7 plus 8, and then we will divide by the number of entries. Well, there's only 2 numbers there. Okay, and so 7 plus 8 is 15. 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. Okay, so 7.5 is, like I said, halfway between these 2 middle values, so that is actually our median in this case. Okay, so the mean of those 2 middle gave us the median. So this is our median. Okay, but had there been an odd number, then you would see, so let's just, for example, let's take one of these out of here. Let's say we took that outlier out of there. Okay, and we went back and said, okay, one from the left, one from the right, one from the left, one from the right, one from the left, one from the right. We would be left with one number in the middle. Okay, so an odd number of entries will have one median. Okay, one middle value, no other work necessary. Because ours had an even number, okay, we had an even number of entries, we had 2 middle numbers, and so we had to find the mean of those 2 middle numbers. Okay, so we had a little bit extra work for this one. Okay, now the mode is the value that occurs most often. Okay, and oftentimes there is no mode. So if all of the numbers that are seen are appear the same number of times, usually one time, then there is no mode. Okay, so we're only looking for values that occur more than any of the others. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 31, they all occur just once. So no mode with those values. But 10 and 10, okay, so 10 appears twice, and that's more than any other number appears on its own. So then the mode is 10. Okay, and now the range, again, range not too difficult here. You're just taking your largest value and you're going to subtract your smallest value. So another way we can say that is the max minus min, the maximum value minus the minimum value. Okay, so what was the maximum value? Well, that's the nice thing with ordering it here again. Just look to the right and look to the left. The biggest number, or the maximum value, was 31, and the smallest was 1. Okay, and when you subtract those, we get 30. Okay, so the range is 30. Okay, and all that means is our values spanned over 30 numbers. From 1 to 31, we spanned 30. Okay, so there's your measures of central tendency. Okay, how we use data in math. Okay, so I hope this helps, and good luck.